Now with one segment, we would basically infer that the best fitting retention rate per month is 82%. So if we just look at a chart of the actual retention curve, which we show in black over here, against the expected retention curve, which is what we show in red, we can see that the model doesn't fit very well at all. Basically, we overestimate what retention is in early periods, and then we underestimate retention in later periods. And this is exactly what we always see when effectively there are more than one different customer segments, which we almost always observe. Typically, all of your customers don't have the same loyalty for your firm. Typically, you're going to have different segments. Some customers really love you, others are going to leave really quickly, and we can't just assume that they all share the same underlying retention rate. So not all customers are created equal. And what's interesting is when you assume that there's only one retention rate, when in fact there are 2 or 3 or more segments within your customer base, you will mathematically have to undervalue those customers. So imagine that we move to a 2-segment model. Basically what we would infer is that there's a high loyalty segment and a low loyalty segment. Both of these segments take up about 50% of the market share. And we can see that the high loyalty segment has a retention rate of 92%, whereas the low loyalty segment has a retention of just 43%. When we bring those 2 segments together to forecast what overall retention is at this firm, this is what we infer. Basically, we hit that retention curve right on the nail. The overall forecast almost perfectly tracks what we actually observe. But we can see from those lines in yellow that there are dramatically different retention patterns across these 2 different loyalty segments. So what's interesting is, in addition to kind of giving us a better fitting expected retention curve, we also we've got a richer story to tell. We have these 2 segments, and there's this question of how big are they? Is there any way we can influence people within the low loyalty segment to encourage them to be higher loyalty? Or at least in the future, is there some way that we can identify differences between these 2 groups to be able to say, I'm going to try and target segments like this so that I can go after customers that are more likely to be in the high loyalty segment. And we can see that this was very much the case at Blue Apron. So hopefully this has been informative and offers you a view not only of retention rates, but also of the utility of allowing for different customer segments. Thank you very much.